Thereupon the king and the queen suffered great anguish. And the king said, "Ah! How ill I have requited great fidelity," and ordered the stone figure to be taken up and placed in his bedroom beside his bed. And as often as he looked on it he wept and said, "Ah! If I could bring you to life again, my most faithful John." Some time passed and the queen bore twins, 2 sons who grew fast and were her delight. Once when the queen was at church and the father was sitting with his 2 children playing beside him, he looked at the stone figure again, sighed, and full of grief he said, "Ah! If I could but bring you to life again, my most faithful John." Then the stone began to speak and said, "You can bring me to life again if you will use for that purpose what is dearest to you." Then cried the king, "I will give everything I have in the world for you." The stone continued, "If you will cut off the heads of your 2 children with your own hand, and sprinkle me with their blood, I shall be restored to life." The king was terrified when he heard that he himself must kill his dearest children. But he thought of faithful John's great fidelity, and how he had died for him, drew his sword, and with his own hand cut off the children's heads. And when he had smeared the stone with their blood, life returned to it, and faithful John stood once more safe and healthy before him. He said to the king, "Your truth shall not go unrewarded," and took the heads of the children, put them on again, and rubbed the wounds with their blood, at which they became whole again immediately, and jumped about, and went on playing as if nothing had happened. Then the king was full of joy, and when he saw the queen coming he hid faithful John and the 2 children in a great cupboard. When she entered, he said to her, "Have you been praying in the church?" "Yes," answered she, "but I have constantly been thinking of faithful John and what misfortune has befallen him through us." Then said he, "Dear wife, we can give him his life again, but it will cost us our 2 little sons, whom we must sacrifice." The queen turned pale, and her heart was full of terror. But she said, "We owe it to him, for his great fidelity." Then the king was rejoiced that she thought as he had thought, and went and opened the cupboard, and brought forth faithful John and the children, and said, "God be praised. He is delivered, and we have our little sons again also," and told her how everything had occurred. Then they dwelt together in much happiness until their death.